The police report is an important piece of evidence in any motor vehicle collision. Insurance companies will use the police report to determine fault, and the police report is admissible at trial, at least to the extent that it refers to the investigating officer's own personal observations. So, what if the report contains incorrect information? Is it possible to correct or amend the report? And if so, how does one go about doing that? Well, the short answer is yes, it is possible, but it depends on what exactly you're trying to change. If there are factual errors in the report, you'll need to provide the investigating officer with evidence documenting the error. For example, if there's video footage, for example, dash camera footage or local business surveillance footage, and the officer didn't have that footage at the time of making the report, you can and should provide the officer with that video. It's always best to have an attorney in these situations for reasons I'll get into, but if you are doing this yourself, you can look for the investigating officer's name and badge number on the police report. It's usually in the bottom left at the end of the report. And sometimes you'll need to call that police department at its non-emergency contact number to connect with the officer through an operator. But again, if the video clearly shows that the information in the officer's report is wrong or disproves the way that the report says the accident happened, and it's clearly demonstrated from the video, then the officer will most likely want to correct that report. So again, you can and should provide that. That being said, there are other kinds of evidence, such as witness statements, which we'll call testimonial evidence as opposed to documentary evidence, that may conflict with another witness's. So where you have conflicting witness statements, the officer may not want to change the report, or the officer may just make limited changes to the report and leave the determination of fault up to the court and to the jury. So the police report is not necessarily the end-all, be-all of proving your case. You can call witnesses, and there can be conflicts, such as I'll give an example to sort of put a finer point on this. We had a case where our client rear-ended a commercial vehicle, and the commercial vehicle had all sorts of mechanical issues due to negligent maintenance. And the police initially gave our client a ticket for following too closely, said he was at fault. But, of course, the company's driver never told the officer the full story of what happened. Instead, he just played it off like our client just rear-ended him because he wasn't paying attention, and didn't reveal anything about the numerous mechanical problems that he knew about. And our client, for his part, wasn't able to tell his story really because he was being life-flighted with a broken femur. So the officer didn't really press further on this and just said, put our client at fault, gave him a ticket, car on the back as a ticket, it's done. And it wasn't until we got into discovery as part of our lawsuit we filed that we were able to get dash camera footage from the company's vehicle that showed the driver talking about how bad the truck was broken down and how unsafe it was to be driving it on the highway. And we had electronic data from the vehicle's EDR or black boxes, and we were able to share those videos and the data with the law enforcement. And the officer did agree to withdraw the citation based on that, but basically said, look, the determination of fault is up to the jury and the court. That's not, I'm not getting into sort of testimonial statements or, who should have seen what, when, and, maintenance issues with the vehicle, etc. That's for the lawyers, basically. So you may not always get what you want, but sometimes you can, get the officer to at least understand the bigger picture of what happens so that if the officer is called to testify at trial, the officer is fully aware of all the facts not just the facts that were available at that particular time when he made the report. So again, the report can be amended. You should try to amend it. May not always happen, but it can be good for your case. In general, it's best to hire an attorney in this situation, as I said earlier, because of those hearsay issues. A police report generally it's hearsay. It's really multiple levels of hearsay, but it falls within certain exceptions in many instances. So again, at least to the extent that the report refers to the officer's personal observations, the report itself is going to be admitted at trial. But as to other witnesses, witness statements would be considered a second level of hearsay in that police report. And if the witnesses are not the parties to the collision themselves, i.e. the opposing parties in a lawsuit, it will be necessary for you to call those witnesses at trial. And rather than simply just amending the report, you need to go talk to those witnesses, get statements, and then again call them at trial. Make sure that they're informed about trial and know that the case is still going on for the period of litigation. Those are all things that a good attorney is going to do. But if you don't do that or don't realize you have to do it before important evidence is lost or witnesses' memories fade, then you can hurt your case. So again, good to hire an attorney. If you are in a situation where you have a police report that you believe is wrong, that often means that there's more issues going on and that warrant, again, an attorney's involvement.